South Carolina is going to be a tough state for us, but you know what? I think we can win here. And we're going to devote energy and resources into the state. I think the more people get to know what we stand for, which is not necessarily the case here, the better we're going to do.
You got to get in on the love train. That's what the Bernie Sanders campaign is. It's a love train. Do you love working people? Do you love poor people? Do you love the declining middle class? We love rich folk too, but we can't stand greed. We can't stand avaricious activity. We can't stand injustice. Brothers and sisters of all colors, my dear brother, the next president of the United States, Bernie Sanders.
When we talk about making the United States the kind of nation we want to become, we all understand that tragically, racism remains alive today, and our goal together must be to end all forms of institutional racism and make major reforms in our criminal justice system.
We are the wealthiest country in the history of the world, but most Americans don't know that. And they don't know that because almost all of the wealth and new income being generated in this country is going to the top 1%. So how are you going to know that you're living in the wealthiest country in the history of the world when you can't afford to buy a used car? How are you going to know that you're living in the wealthiest country in the history of the world when you're working 2 or 3 jobs to bring in enough income to take care of your family? How are you going to know that you're living in the wealthiest country in the history of the world when you get sick and you can't afford to go to the doctor?
I mean, you've been making the same speech for 20, 30 years, and that's what I like about you. But my real aggravation is this. We try to coax corporations to make jobs.
Yep.
We cut their taxes.
Yep.
We beg them.
Yep.
We pay them to come into the state to try to start a job for our folks.
Yep.
The government can produce jobs.
Yep.
We used to call it public works.
Yep.
Roosevelt did it.
Yep.
Why aren't we doing it?
Well, we will. I didn't give you the whole long speech. Page 14 deals exactly with that. Now, here's legislation. Your point is exactly right. Look, everybody knows, I'm assuming it's true in South Carolina, certainly true in my state of Vermont. Our infrastructure is crumbling, right? You all know what that means? Our roads, our bridges, water systems, wastewater plants, airports, levees, dams, schools, rail, all right? We introduced legislation that would invest $1 trillion over a 5-year period, creates up to 13 million jobs, rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure. Exactly what you're talking about. Many of my Republican colleagues in the Senate, they worry very, very much about redistribution of wealth. They start shuddering when they hear that term. But here's the truth. In the last 30 years, we have seen a massive redistribution of wealth. The problem is it's gone in the wrong direction. The truth is that in the last 30 years, trillions of dollars have gone from the pockets of working families to the top 1/10 of 1%. Brothers and sisters, you and I together are going to reverse that flow of money.